When you were leading both of those schools, so there were certain things that the curriculum said you had to do. You mentioned about the need to get people moving towards exams and assessment and all of that. But yet you're challenging that as well to say there has to be something more than that. Are there examples of your time at St. Cecilia's or Hazelwood where you were doing the baseline in terms of curriculum, getting people ready for exams, but you were looking beyond, just like you've described to me now, those skills that young people need to develop, that they are becoming a citizen, not just someone who's useful in the economy. Can you give us some examples of how you've done that in the past within the constraints of having to deliver these exam outputs as well?
Yeah, I can remember a number of pivotal moments during my 16 years of headship of both schools. And one of them was to invite a man, and I hope he doesn't mind being named, Gareth Hetherington.
Oh, yes.
To speak to me about future workforce. And I was head of our learning community at the time in Foyle. And we brought him in and he spoke for an hour and a half to us. And I think many of us went back and looked critically at our curriculum after that. There was another few days where with the MDU in Acknagalvin, which was a multidisciplinary unit, where they looked at all of the jobs you could do in health. And we really went back and we had a really strong curriculum review. Mm-hmm. So I think those days always highlighted for me is a need for people to go out and see what's happening in the community, to see what's happening with current jobs, to see what industry needs were. Mm-hmm. But I'd say in this next 6 months after those two pivotal moments, we changed the curriculum radically because the city of Derry at that stage had changed massively in the fact that, shirt factories had closed down. There was a whole level of skills for young women in particular at that time, and they saw no future. So, it was about building people towards other skills in health and education and business. And I'm pleased to see many of those first people to go on to further and higher education be leaders in this world today. Mm-hmm. And then I think back of maybe a pivotal moment at Hazelwood where, I was struck when I went to North Belfast, its similarity to where St. Cecilia's was, but also the fact that there was poor aspiration to go to work because a lot of the industry, like in the security forces or indeed in heavy industries, had actually closed and disappeared. So many people who would have, whose great-grandfather had worked in shorts or Harland and Wolff, that avenue wasn't going to be open to them. Mm-hmm. And that was a very proud avenue for many of the young people to go on to say that, my grandfather's nickname was whatever because he used to, throw the boats into the heavy shipbuilding. Mm-hmm. So we had to build aspiration. And I remember picking a champion. And she'll not mind being named because she was really used that day, but it was Joanne Stewart.
Oh, yes, yeah.
And Joanne came that day and we billed the day Hazelwood Goes to Work. Because there had been no careers program where people went out of school. So I decided, right, let's get them all out. And Joanne that day, launched 20 buses going out from the school and everybody in Hazelwood went to work for one whole day. Can you imagine 1,000 people going to work? And some of them, I went with the group who went to the Northern Ireland Assembly. Somebody else went to Tato Factory. There was about 20 people went to every single place, but Hazelwood went to work. And I would like to see initiatives like that happen right across Northern Ireland at every single school, because the stories that came back from that, some of them negative. People said, I wouldn't really want to work there. But that was a very valid experience. And then from that, we launched both work experience and again then internships. Because I'd had prior experience of internships in Maryland,
Okay.
where I was challenged by a head teacher. You call it work experience and that's what you get. We call it internships and we get something more valuable.
Mm.
And along with Deloitte here in Belfast, we launched a 10-week program where students would go out every Wednesday afternoon and they would go out to, either Deloitte, some of them went to the Now Group, some of them went to Danks Bank,
Mm-hmm.
and they actually solved real problems with the bank, or with the Now Group. For example, would you buy a sausage roll if you had to pay more because you were helping people to have a more inclusive workforce?
Yeah.